Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So today is the appearance day of Srivas Acharya of the Pancha Tattva. So we'll try and we'll read from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. It's a book given to us by Srila Prabhupada on the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially his teachings to his different devotees. So chapter 17, let's read a little from here and try and understand the appearance and some of the activities of Srinivas Acharya. Chapter 17, Lord Chaitanya, the original personality of Godhead. Following the footsteps of Kaviraj Krishnadas Goswami, we offer our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is described as follows. He is the only shelter for the forlorn, for the most fallen, and he is the only hope for those who are completely devoid of spiritual knowledge. Let us try to discuss this great contribution, his great contribution of devotional service. The Supreme Powerful Lord Krishna is manifest in 5 different potencies. Although he is one without a second, in order to serve 5 specific spiritual purposes, he is manifest in 5 ways. Such diversity is eternal and blissful, in contrast with the conception of monotonous oneness. From Vedic literatures we can understand that the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, eternally exists with his diverse energies. Lord Chaitanya appeared with full diverse energies, and they are 5 in number. Therefore Lord Chaitanya is said to be Krishna with diverse energies. There is no difference between the energy and the energetic in regard to the Lord's appearance as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his 4 associates, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Gadadhar, and Srivas. Among these 5 diverse manifestations of the Supreme Lord, as the Lord himself, an incarnation, expansion, and energies, there is no spiritual difference. They are 5 in one absolute truth. For the sake of relishing transcendental flavors in the absolute truth, there are 5 diverse manifestations. These are called the form of a devotee, the identity of a devotee, the incarnation of a devotee, the pure devotee, and devotional energy. Out of the 5 diversities of the Absolute Truth, the form of Lord Chaitanya is that of the original personality of Godhead Krishna. Lord Nityananda is the manifestation of the first expansion of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Advaita Prabhu is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. These 3, Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Advaita, belong to the category of Vishnu Tattva, or the Supreme Absolute Truth. Srivas represents the pure devotee, and Gadadhar represents the eternal energy of the Lord for the advancement of pure devotion. Therefore, Gadadhar and Srivas, although included in Vishnu Tattva, are dependent, diverse energies of the Supreme Lord. In other words, they are not different from the energetic, but they are manifest diversely for the sake of relishing transcendental relationships. The whole process of devotional service involves a transcendental reciprocation in the relationship between the worshipper and the worshipped. Without such a diverse exchange of transcendental flavors, devotional service has no meaning. Hare Krishna. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ulmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Satadevi Pranamami Hari Priye. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatadashatharini Vanshakalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Every day we chant the Panchatattva mantra. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Before we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is recommended by Srila Prabhupada. Offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasa and all the other devotees who are following in the line of devotional service. Srivas Adi. Srivas is Srinivasacharya and Adi are the devotees who are following in the line of devotional service. So we continue with our series from the week before Gaur Purnima on the different aspects of Lord Chaitanya's appearance and his devotees and their activities. So today we are observing the appearance of Srinivas Acharya or Srivas Pandit. So we've read from this book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya just one little excerpt of what we've read. Out of the 5 diversities of the Absolute Truth, the form of Lord Chaitanya is that of the original personality of Godhead Krishna. Lord Nityananda is the manifestation of the first expansion of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Advaita Prabhu is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. These 3, Chaitanya, Nityananda and Advaita, belong to the category of Vishnu Tattva or the Supreme Absolute Truth. Srivas represents the pure devotee and Gadadhar represents the eternal energy of the Lord for the advancement of pure devotion. So here we get the identity of Srivas. He is the expansion, or he is the pure devotee. Srivas represents the pure devotee, and as we read and hear, Srivas Acharya is the incarnation, or he is Narad Muni himself. And all, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not an incarnation, he is directly Lord Krishna himself. There's different ways that Krishna comes directly. He comes directly in the form of the holy name. He comes as Lord Chaitanya, and he comes directly in the form of the deity in the temple. So these are not incarnations, they are directly Krishna himself. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is directly Lord Krishna, although generally when we preach we say he is an incarnation, and Lord Krishna appears in the form of his own devotee. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is directly Lord Krishna. And Nityananda Prabhu is Krishna's brother, Lord Balaram. Advaita Prabhu is Lord Vishnu, incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Gadadhar is the eternal energy of Srimati Radharani. And today we hearing of Srinivas Acharya, who is the incarnation of Narad Muni, the pure devotee. So around 500 years ago, there was a great Brahmin, a devotee, Gangadhar Bhattacharya, and he went at one point, he lived with his wife Lakshmi Priya. Now, they were very pious, they were great devotees, and they lived as husband and wife, and they had no desire to have any children. And they were very pious, they were always engaged in devotional service. So they went, at least Gangadhar Bhattacharya at one point, he went to another village in Bengal. He actually went to visit his in-laws, and on his way, or after that, he went to a village called Katwa, and this is the place where Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. So when he went to Katwa, he saw that there was a lot of activity in the ashram of Keshava Bharati. So he went and he inquired, and immediately he could see Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was instructing, he was instructing a barber to cut or shave up, to cut his hair, because he was preparing to take sannyas. And this barber was very reluctant to cut Lord Chaitanya's head and shave him up. But somehow he was doing it, and he didn't know how it was happening. So Lord Chaitanya, he just acted through this barber to make sure that his hair was cut. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Gaur Hari ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai. So there was a lot of crying, because the devotees, they didn't want to see Lord Chaitanya lose his hair. But eventually, when one takes sannyas, and Lord Chaitanya was preparing to take sannyas, so Lord Chaitanya commissioned this barber, even against his will, to shave up, to cut off his hair. So when the sannyas ceremony took place, Keshava Bharati, he initiated Lord Chaitanya into sannyas, and he gave him the name Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And when this Brahman, when he observed this whole ceremony with all the devotees so ecstatic, and all the festivities that was going on, it was just overwhelming. And then immediately, from then on, he just began to chant Chaitanya, 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 and he couldn't stop chanting the name of Lord Chaitanya. Then when this Brahman, Gangadhar Bhattacharya, went back to his village, he couldn't stop chanting Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. And when the people, they saw this difference of that village, when they saw this difference in Gangadhar Pandit, they named him Chaitanya Das. So it was like something out of the ordinary for the local people. And then from then he just continued to chant the name of Lord Chaitanya. Then during this time, he had a not a strange desire, but a very strong desire came upon him to have a son. Although they were very pious, they were simple people, and they had no inclination of having children. Chaitanya Das, he expressed this desire or this feeling that he had to his wife that, there's a strong desire in me now to have a son. And his wife Lakshmi Priya said, okay, that's good. I think best we go, she recommended we go to Jagannath Puri and see Lord Chaitanya. So they journeyed to Jagannath Puri, and just before, like a day before they could reach Jagannath Puri, while they were taking rest, they had a vision or a dream of Lord Krishna, very beautiful form of Shyama Sundar. And during this vision or dream, that form of Lord Krishna changed into Lord Chaitanya. And then that form again changed into Lord Chaitanya as a sannyasi, carrying a danda, clean shaven in saffron robes. And then again that form changed to Lord Jagannath. So in this way, they were given the benediction that by taking darshan of Lord Jagannath, their desires will be fulfilled. So the next day they went for darshan of Lord Jagannath, and as they were approaching the main gate, they were fortunate to see Lord Chaitanya, who was coming with some of his close associates, and Lord Chaitanya and his associates were going for darshan of Lord Jagannath as well. And when Lord Chaitanya saw Chaitanya Das and his wife Lakshmi Priya, he called for them, and he says, you simply take darshan of Lord Chaitanya, of Lord Jagannath, and he will also he will fulfill all your desires. So in this way, they went and they prayed to Lord Jagannath, and when they went back to their village, actually the benediction is that they would get a son who will help Lord Chaitanya to spread the Sankirtan movement. And so when they went back home, after some time, they had a son, and the son was Srinivas Acharya. And the son was very beautiful, and they could see immediately that they had a very extraordinary child. So this is how Srinivas Acharya appears. And later on, Srinivas Acharya, he comes to Navadvip, Mayapur, and he lives. He built a beautiful home which is called Srinivas Angam, which is just down the road from the Hare Krishna ISKCON campus. And he lived with his wife Malini, and they also lived very peacefully, and they were great devotees. So the benediction was that Srinivas will help Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya, he empowered two great souls, Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, to write books on the science of Krishna consciousness. And Srinivas Acharya was empowered to distribute this knowledge. So he is practically the first Sankirtan devotee. And here in Srinivas Angam is considered the birthplace of the Sankirtan movement. Here Lord Chaitanya and his most intimate followers would come, and they would have kirtan at night, nocturnal kirtans, and it was very ecstatic. During this time, of course, India was under the British rule, and not British rule, they were under the Mughal rule, or the Muslims. And at that time the Hindus, because they were suppressed, they did not strictly follow all the rules and regulations in the Vedas, and they were not openly discharging their duties. But Lord Chaitanya, when he began his preaching, initially he would go to homes and he would preach and he would get people to chant. So in the house of Srinivas Acharya at Srivas Angam, Lord Chaitanya, he would have these kirtans, and when the local Muslims, when they saw this, how people were becoming so ecstatic chanting Hare Krishna, normally they would not be enthusiastic about their spiritual activities, but when they could see how they were chanting with Lord Chaitanya, they were so enthusiastic, they became concerned, and they reported this to the local magistrate, who was a Muslim. He was known as Chand Qazi, and so in this way the Chand Qazi, he also got further news of what was happening at Srivas Angam, and in this way he threatened that if this doesn't stop, he will convert the local Hindus into Muslims. So at that time, due to the local situation, the Mughals, it was very simple to convert Hindus into Muslims. Sometimes they would simply throw water on them and they would become Muslims. And in this way, it was very difficult for these Hindus who became Muslims to come back to be Hindus, because it was a very rigid society, and the Brahmanas will not allow them back and things like that, so they remained Muslims, and it was like a very difficult situation. And of course, the another way that the Mughals or the Muslims employed to convert Hindus into Muslims was that the government or the magistrate, the Chand Qazi, he imposed a tax only on the Hindus. So the Hindus were poor. India was a poor, people were poor, so they could not pay the taxes, so they became Muslims to avoid being punished and things like that. So they became Muslims, and in this way the Muslims, the Muslim or the Mughals, or the Muslim population increased. Prabhupada commented that there were no Muslims who came from outside. It was by these two ways that they converted the Hindus into Muslims. One by throwing water on them, and the other was they levied this tax that only on Hindus. So if they could not pay the tax, they had to become Muslims. So it was a very difficult situation. And of course, because the local Hindus, they were not strict in following their own culture, so they didn't have that strong spiritual understanding, and therefore they were very spiritually weak, and immediately they gave in and things like that. So once Chand Qazi, he went himself one evening and he saw these kirtans, and he heard what was the kirtans that was going on in Srinivas Angam, and immediately he went in and he got his followers to break the mridangas, called Banga Danga pastime. It's called that. They came in and they broke the mridangas, and immediately the Chand Qazi, he says, if this doesn't stop, he'll convert everyone into Muslims. He'll stop anyone from following the Hindu Dharma and things like that. So then there was a nice conversation between Lord Chaitanya and the Chand Qazi. But still the Chand Qazi was very serious about what he was doing. And when again this happened, Lord Chaitanya, he instructed his followers to all get together, and they were preparing to march, to have a protest march, and they were going to the palace of the Chand Kazi, and he instructed everyone to get torches and things like that, and there was going to be a big kirtan with mridangas, many mridanga players and many devotees, and so they had this march. It was a protest march initially, and this was the first time that the chanting of Hare Krishna went out into public. It was the first Harinam Sankirtan, and it was in protest. So they went to the house of Chand Kazi, and when Chand Kazi was looking outside through the window and he saw thousands of followers headed by Lord Chaitanya, he was concerned. And again there was a discussion between Lord Chaitanya and Chand Kazi, and they were discussing the Quran, they were discussing the Vedic scriptures. And after this discussion, the Chand Kazi made a declaration that this Sankirtan can go on and no one should stop it. So this was the first public chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra that was arranged by Lord Chaitanya. It was twofold. One was as a protest, and the other was to have Harinam. So this started at the ashram of Srivas Angam, where the Lord Chaitanya started the Hare Krishna movement. Also here in Srivas Angam, it was a very intimate association with his closest followers, where Lord Chaitanya revealed his true identity as Lord Krishna. He revealed himself in the sixth form, Sadbhuj feature. So it was a very wonderful experience. And we are fortunate by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his devotees that we are able to visit this place. It's walking distance. You can go on a nice japa walk and you can visit. But more important is to hear of these pastimes when we go there from the devotees. And it's a wonderful place, and one can easily get many benedictions by going there. But ultimately the main benediction is that we should engage in devotional service, as we've read here in the final section of this little purport that we've read. The whole process of devotional service involves a transcendental reciprocation in the relationship between the worshipper and the worshipped. Without such a diverse exchange of transcendental flavors, devotional service has no meaning. So, devotional service is not a mechanical process where we simply do things to get it done. In the beginning, that's what we do. We have to get things done, although we may not have this mood, the higher meanings and things like that, but still that is our goal, is that there should be a feeling of exchange between the worshipper and the worship, between the devotee and Lord Krishna, between a devotee and a devotee. This is what the Pancha Tattva, Lord Krishna in 5 features, especially in this Kali Yuga, beside coming to set the Yuga Dharma, which is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, there is such a deep process that actually makes us forget, as we get more into devotional service, we just forget about our outside surroundings. We simply try to engage in our devotional service and try to develop these different types of relationships that's mentioned. Without such diverse exchange of transcendental flavors, devotional service has no meaning. And Srila Prabhupada, he set that example. We are here sometimes in like 22nd Avenue. Prabhupada was alone, and he was with young American boys who had no idea of etiquette, of Vedic culture, but yet Prabhupada would share his bathroom with them. Sometimes Prabhupada would stand in a line just to use the shower. So Prabhupada set the example how to develop so many types of relationships. And we see later on, and also during the time of Prabhupada, how his early followers, they fully dedicated themselves to his service. Because of the love that Prabhupada showed to them. And Prabhupada didn't develop a relationship with them for 5 or 10 years. Immediately, he showed them love because he understood within each body is the spirit soul, the Atma, and each soul is an eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And this is why the Pancha Tattva has appeared, is to bring back these fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada set that example, and in such an intimate way, sharing the bathroom, he would personally cook for them, things like that. He would instruct them. Often, sometimes, in the early days, when the devotees needed something, Prabhupada would take money out from his own little purse and would give them, you can buy this, you can buy that. So this was how Prabhupada, he developed, and he showed by example how to become closer with the devotees. And this is what actually pleases Lord Krishna, is how much we can show our love and respect for the devotees first, and then that will automatically develop into our love for Krishna. So Srinivas Acharya, we are fortunate, Prabhupada recommend we chant this Pancha Tattva mantra every time before we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, first through japa and then kirtan as well. Also when we sing songs of glorification, Samsara Dava in the morning, the Guru Vandana song, then after that we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So it's very important that we chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Some say it is like the dialing code. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta, and then you dial the number, which is the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna. We'll stop there. You can meditate on Srinivas Acharya, not only today but every day. If it's difficult, then simply engage in devotional service, and I'm certain we'll all receive the mercy and blessings of Srinivas Acharya. Hare Krishna. Is there any comments or anyone wants to add on to the class? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.